Hey everybody, this is Perch. Youngblood #1 is coming out with a lot of covers. We have somebody asking about this. 27 covers for this Youngblood comic. Um, anyway, we'll get to that in a second. But really quickly, I want to address something that some of you've been saying in the comments, and this is kind of more of a universal take. There's a specific example, but this is a universal take. And this is the thing that everybody conveniently leaves out when they decide to post something that I said on Kiwi Farms. They which is rare, thankfully, or they do some kind of reaction video or something. I recently made a comment about how puzzling it was that these Netflix shows that have been canceled for several years, like it's like somebody found out they existed yesterday and they're going like, "Ah, this is an outrage. They're grooming your children." And it's like, yeah, those shows are canceled though. And some of you, correctly, by the way, have said, "Yeah, but it's a streaming service. They're still there, right? It's not new, but it's still there." That's also true. That's very true. Now, being still there means you do not get the marketing and the other material that happens in the first couple weeks that something's released. So it's kind of sitting there in a giant library collecting dust, but it can still be found. You are absolutely right. My issue with the whole thing is not people finding out. It's the lack of context. And this is actually a pretty, significant deal that all of you should care about, because if you're going to be angry about something or you're going to chase something, then at least be fully right about it. Don't leave off kind of important facts. So, for example, in all the posts of like, "Can you believe they're grooming your children with this content on Netflix?" It's very easy to add a line saying, "Even though it was canceled 2 years ago, it's still available today." See, that is context that actually, makes the whole thing factual. But by leaving that off, you basically are giving you're basically playing to a bunch of rubes who thinks that this stuff is still being mass produced out, or that it is omnipresent as opposed to like a scene in a movie. There's just it helps. It doesn't make it less, of a problem. If you're upset about it, you still gonna be upset about it, but it just makes it true. It makes it fully true, as opposed to leaving off some bits. When you start leaving off bits, then no pun intended. When you start not saying the whole story, then people wonder, like, well, okay, so how factual is your claim? And it diminishes what you're trying to do. And I think this happens in comic books all the time. People conveniently leave out one piece of the story because it doesn't make their slam dunk as clean as it would if it was all there. But it's better because then you have truth on your side. You have the full accuracy on your side. And that is a more defensible position. It helps. It means that, people might have to think an extra second in order to understand your point, but it's better. And I don't want to live in a world where we don't give a shit about the details and the facts and the context. That is a dumbass world filled with dumbass people who just react to everything and don't worry about this stuff. The disingenuous nature of this stuff is crap. And do you enjoy being played? Because that's what happens when people give you little bits, but they don't give you the full story, and they expect you to get angry and run off and start shouting and get your torches and everything else. Give the full story. That's it. That's my push, is I want that. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense to all of you. Let's get to this covers thing. Which people, I clicked on a video for Youngblood and I got yes. Welcome to the bit. 4,000 videos later, you know what you're in for. Dear Perch, or should I say Cosmic Stage Extraordinaire? There you go. That was fancy. Hope this email finds you knee deep in a stack of fresh issues and not buried under a pile of variant covers. I had to reach out with you with a fun brain teaser on brand management and marketing, given your expertise as a retailer and reader collector. Specifically, how do indie creators juggle a launch or relaunch of a property while paying for, that sweet press coverage? A recent Hollywood Reporter piece on Rob Liefeld's Youngblood relaunch. Well, actually, real quick, let me address one of those things. If you're an indie creator, and by the way, this would work for some of you who are just doing crowdfunding on your own. Here's a secret unlock tip. A lot of these news sites, you can write the article yourself. Like they are so desperate for content. Variety, for example, you can be a writer for Variety. right now. A number of these sites, there's being official member of Variety, and then there's like guest columns. They're just desperate for content. Go look in these submitting my content. You'll discover that several of these sites basically proofread it for, obscenities and things are going to get them sued, and off it goes. Tons of people use it for product launches. If you go to, I don't know, news sites like CNN, you'll see like sponsored articles in there. They're labeled, but you'll see it in there. And it's basically whoever made that product is written an article about how great the product is or how hot or in demand it is. If you have a comic and it's got any unique twist at all, like it's sci-fi, but in this one we've got twins that are the protagonist. I don't know what the anyway. If you have any kind of unique spin at all on your comic, and chances are you do, you can write one of these articles. You could get in there. Will a lot of people see it? No. However, you will get, it will be picked up through SEO if the site has anything going on, and you can ride that to make things look a lot bigger than they are. Okay? It doesn't work if you're for the big two because Marvel and DC want to control that. But if you're an indie creator, you should do this. It's free, literally free. I mean, it's your time. Time isn't free, but otherwise free. Anyway, back to mail. It says a recent Hollywood Reporter piece on Rob Liefeld's Youngblood relaunch got me thinking. On one hand, it's Hype City with 27 retail variant covers. Jesus Christ. And vague innuendo about his whatnot sales for an extremely different Youngblood comic. But the article spills the beans on those retailer minimums for the exclusive covers. Images starting at 500 copies. Rob is pushing for 750 and maybe landing somewhere in the middle like 600. It'll be 500. Does that kind of transparency help build buzz for the property, or does it accidentally deflate the balloon by making it seem a tad accessible? I mean, I don't think it's good. I think a lot of people, and by the way, you've seen creators from the big two, from the indies, kind of brag about it. We sold 100,000 copies. You did. Guess how? This way. You created variant covers that required a minimum buy-in. And if your property is big enough, if you have like a Spider-Man or a Batman, you could say this is a 5,000 variant cover, order, and you get 20 of those and they add up pretty quick. I know one recently that got 10, yes, 10, 5,000 variant cover copy sales. Well, guess what? That's 50,000 copies right there, which is more than the print run of most comics, just for, retail exclusive variants. So is that gaming the system? Fuck yes, it is gaming the system. Absolutely. And I don't know, so next time you see those big numbers, if is your brain going to go to, wow, this must be a great comic. A lot of people are buying into it. Or is it going to go to, I wonder how many variant covers they sold as exclusives? I think that second one is not helpful. I say as the guy who in the early 90s was like, I think all these bagged and gimmick covers is not going to be, I have a feeling like this is not going to help us long term. I don't know. Call me crazy. Anyway, back to mail. It says, Rob's out there boasting about Youngblood being number one back in the day and launching Image Comics, which he's entitled to keep repeating historically, but it starts to sound like Al Bundy reminding everyone of 4 touchdowns for once scored in a high school football game. Looking at Image Comics today, I see the majority of titles coming from Skybound, McFarlane, and Ghost Machine, with a market share driven more by the volume of output and less by the volume of success. Image hasn't been extreme in decades. Furthermore, is leaning into that nostalgia a smart marketing win, or does it risk highlighting how much things have changed? Image Comics has announced a line-wide promotion angle, slapping Youngblood vibes across multiple titles. Genius cross-pollination or total overkill? Reminds me of what was tried with the most recent Spawn Batman crossover before Image switched to Lunar for distribution. Did that boost Spawn's brand without overwhelming the fans, or was it a mixed bag? Thanks for all you do and sharing insights with us. There's a link to the article. Look, I think, promotions, why not? You do some marketing. I think that the thing about nostalgia is it's a powerful weapon that has a cliff to it. So it's one of those things where it can help you. You can get people using member berries and kind of getting some, wanting to buy into something or be part of something because of the way it makes them feel and the memories it invokes. But it's like if you push it too far, It's not a gradual descent. It falls off completely. People are tuned on some level to being manipulated. Thus, kind of the start of this video. But anyway, if you push them too much, they will feel like this is a very manufactured nostalgia. And what you want to have is organic nostalgia. I think with Youngblood, I mean, look, I opened the boxes of Youngblood back in the day. I put it on the shelves. It did well. It got demolished by Wildcats later, but it was a big seller, and then it was delayed like fucking crazy, and that popped the bloom really quickly. I think if you really want to do nostalgia for Youngblood, you would do this whole big promotion right now, and then have the title be 3 months late. That would be the most nostalgia I could think of. But on the other hand, like, look, I'm nitpicking at this point. Is some good marketing and buzz and hype for this stuff good? Sure. Is 27 covers unhealthy? Yes. I mean, hell yes. I understand the logic of, well, if people want to buy it, yeah, okay. I mean, yeah, sure. If people want to buy it, sure. But there is a point where you're hurting yourself by just completely kind of, I was gonna say, going back to the well so many times. This is a little bit like you're raping the well. That's not going to do well for YouTube's monetization. Anyway, I think that the line, it's fun to do fun things. And certainly Marvel and DC have done line-wide promotions with their variant covers for all kinds of stuff. And so, really Image's just following suit. And that's fine. You could buy into it, you could not buy into it. I don't know. I mean, there's people that have fond memories of Youngblood, to be sure. But I don't know that it's it's not the perfect form of nostalgia. I think that there's probably more nostalgia for the before mentioned Wildcats. I think there's more nostalgia for something like Spawn. I think Youngblood, it has been relaunched so many times in the past. It's had so many different iterations. Remember that really crazy one where they're all doing coke? That was a fun time with Youngblood. But in general, good for them for trying something. It's kind of a blunt instrument approach, but this is comics, so what do you expect? I guess it's unfortunately I said like a bunch of times. Could be better. But glad that there's some energy and there's something that people are trying. We need to be trying things right now, and is Youngblood going to save the universe? No, but it might make for an interesting month where all this stuff pops at once. I think the big question for Youngblood, if we're going to relaunch it, is, all right, so have you got, issues 2 through 5 already in the bag? Or, is this going to be a case of issue 1's going to come out and then there'll be some indeterminate wait for the second issue? And at the end of the day, will it matter? Hey, here's hoping anyway. But yeah, too many variant covers. Thanks for listening. All right, so what do you want your future husband to look like?
Handsome.
Just handsome? That's all you care about?
Yeah. Well, and smart.
Handsome, smart. In which order? Handsome first or smart first?
Smart first.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Him to have a college degree as a doctor.
A college degree as what?
A doctor.
Okay, so you would be married to a doctor. Is that because you want your husband to be out of the house a lot?
No.
No?
Just like a job that makes him rich.
A job that makes him rich?
Because like if I'm a teacher, they don't get paid. They get paid $24 a day.
So you're basically looking for a guy who's going to pay all your bills?
Yeah.
That's great. You're not going to contribute. What if you find somebody you really love and he's really smart, but he's poor?
Depends.
Depends on what?
We'll split the bills.
But if he's poor, what do you do?
We'll have to find a new job.
You will?
No, he will.
He will. Okay.
Me? Why would I have to find a new job? I'm the lady.
Yeah, you don't sound much like a lady talking like that.
So rude.
That's not rude. Okay, I'm raising you very badly if this is what you think.